Hello friends, neighbors, and fellow VEDSies, and yes, I did mean to say fellow VEDSies because today we are going to be looking at the submissions for the 2016 VEDS Trailer Challenge.
Finally? What's that supposed to mean?
You know what I meant.
Come on, been really busy.
Guys, we talked about this. So back in September, we set a challenge for our viewers called the Trailer Challenge, where you were given a series of clips that were taken completely out of context, and you had to put them together into some sort of trailer. You could do whatever you wanted to do with the clips, you could edit them however you wanted, you could add text, you could add whatever sound effects, whatever, but you had to use those specific clips and no others. This is a challenge that I've given sporadically throughout the last few years, and I always enjoy seeing what sort of trailers people come up with these out-of-context clips. And this year I took it a step further as well and also assigned each person who said they wanted to do the challenge a specific piece of music from Incompetech.com, the website that Kevin MacLeod uses to present his royalty-free music. I really wanted to see how each person used their piece of music to drive their trailer forward, because for me, whenever I put together a trailer, the music is the thing that really drives that trailer. In the end, I got 5 trailer submissions, and I want to say from the get-go that they were all really, really good. I enjoyed watching all of these, and I've actually put them together in a playlist, which I will link in the description and at the end of the video. So we're going to review all 5 of these trailers, and we're going to look at them in 3 different ways, which is why I am joined by the Evil Haberdasher and Matt's evil twin. I'm the Evil Haberdasher, and as someone who has made something of a name for— What? Your hair, it's shorter than it was in the wide shot, and I think the background's a little different, and the lighting is definitely different. Because I don't care about continuity. I'm the Evil Haberdasher, and as someone who has made something of a name for himself doing commentaries on little-known movies— You've done it twice, dude. Shut up, E.T. In this case, I will be making commentary on movies that don't even exist. I will be looking at the story that your trailer is telling, as well as the movie that the trailer is advertising, how well it tells that story, and how likely I would be to go see that movie. I'm Matt's evil twin. I do the editing now. And thus, I am going to talk about the editing of each of the trailers. Pretty straightforward, I really don't need to explain it any further, unless you're an idiot. And then we'll bring it back to me, and I will be talking about the music, the specific piece that was assigned to each person, and how they used it to drive their trailer forward, and what that did to the story that they were trying to tell. So, without further ado, let's get started. First up, we have a submission from James F., who presents a trailer for the movie Procrastination. This movie trailer doesn't so much give us a story as kind of a concept, but it's a really interesting concept of a story that somehow comes to life, and how the writer, creator of the story has to take control back from the characters that he's created. Again, it's really just that idea, but that idea is a really interesting one, and the story almost kind of writes itself in a way. The idea is very interesting, and James F. used the trailer to make it seem very exciting and like a story that maybe I would want to go see. Overall, there's some good use of the clips here and some good editing. I like the way he uses the text at the beginning and alternates them with the calmer clips, and I also like that the clips that are taking place within the story are in black and white. That's kind of a cool little thing that you might not necessarily notice right away. There are a couple of strange things, like I'm not sure why he slowed down my line in that one clip. That was a little weird, but overall, good editing, good use of the clips. The piece of music that I assigned to James F. was called Junkyard Tribe, and when I originally assigned this, I had an idea of kind of urban, badass, tough guy sort of film, but James F. took it in a completely different direction from what I was expecting. Instead, he used this piece to give the film a kind of quirky atmosphere, a sort of upbeat, and there's a little bit of badassness in there as well, but mostly it was just kind of this quirky and sort of fun-seeming movie. And I really like the way that he used the music. I like the way that he used the beat of the music and the text at the beginning, and I like the way that he uses the spaces in the music to kind of set the tone a little bit differently, going from something very exciting to something a little bit more calm and even boring. So all in all, he used the music really, really well. Next we have Crazy Josh Cravey, who gives us a trailer for a movie called I Think I'm a Clone Now, which is about a person who is experiencing a sort of existential crisis with his various clones, and I I don't know why that would resonate with me so much, but for some reason it kind of does. The story he's presenting is something of a psychological thriller, very exciting, but also kind of presenting the existential crisis aspect of the movie in a very interesting way. The story is a little bit more fleshed out here, although the trailer is more conceptual than it is telling a story, but it's still very interesting and it's still presented very, very well. Would I be likely to go see it? Well, I mean, I kind of live it, so I don't know how interested I would be, but if I weren't who I was, then yeah, sure, absolutely. Now, the editing with this one is really good. It's so good that he actually made me question whether or not I had put a clip into the mix. There's one particular clip that just shows Matt driving, but the thing is, I didn't put in a clip of Matt driving, and I actually had to stop and question for a moment, did I put in a clip of Matt driving? What he did was he took a clip where Matt is sitting in the car, removed all the stuff from outside the windows, and then used a different clip, I think one of the outside clips, and rushed it past the windows to make it look as though Matt was driving. And it's so seamless, it actually even fooled me, and I'm the one who put this together. Another good clip is where Matt goes to answer the door, and then he's followed by another Matt. Again, I didn't put the clips in that way, but he superimposed the beginning of the clip onto the end of the clip and made it so seamless that it looked as though somebody was actually in the clip with him. Really fantastic editing on this one, just all around. Crazy Josh Cravery was assigned the piece Full On, which is an epic piece of music, something that you might see in a huge cinematic blockbuster of some kind. And he definitely used it to full advantage here. We got a creepy sense of the clones and the existential crisis and all that sort of thing, but also something of an epic adventure that we might be seeing with these various clones going up against each other. It fit the trailer really, really well, and he made good use of the atmosphere that he was given with this music. Next we have Spartanite 67 with The Bookkeeper, which is probably the most fleshed out story that we have in the trailer challenge. This shows us the story of a character who is so into books that he actually finds himself in a book, a part of a story like the ones that he read, and we see that his life is kind of being taken over by this fictional aspect of his life. Again, I have no earthly idea why this would resonate with me at all, but hey, there it is. Like I said, here we do get something of an actual story. We get an idea of what the plot is going to be and what some of the characters are going to be like. Definitely a really interesting concept, definitely gives us a great idea of what the movie is going to be about, and it's one that I would be likely to go see. And one of the things that will usually happen whenever I'm putting clips together for one of these is that there will be kind of an unconscious bias. Like, I don't intend there to be a particular theme in the clips, but it usually comes out, and Spartanite 67 found it. It was books. And I like the way that he used the clips and edited them together to really give us the sense of the bookishness of this particular trailer. The editing itself is pretty basic overall, but what really makes this one stand out is how he used the clips to flesh out the story that he was trying to tell. Really well done. Spartanite 67's piece of music was called Anguish, a sad piece that he actually used in a creepy way with this, and it actually worked really, really well. There's a little bit of sadness and a little bit of sort of melancholy in the piece, but mostly it kind of has a creepy bent to it. Like, this is something that is very out of the ordinary, something that shouldn't be happening. The piece itself is less about anguish and more about this shouldn't be happening, and I like that Spartanite 67 took it in that direction as opposed to something sad. Next, from Ross Pitt Shark Hunter, we have Matt the Board, which is definitely the most conceptual trailer that we have in this. This is really more of a teaser for kind of what would be maybe a film festival artsy sort of thing, and what really makes it work are the quotes that he puts in. Because if it was just the clips by themselves, you wouldn't necessarily get an idea of what he's going for here, but with the quotes, you get an idea that he's going for a sort of artsy film that is supposed to be a depiction of pure boredom. And yeah, the clips are pretty low-key, so that fits in rather well, and I like the direction that he took with this. It wasn't necessarily a direction that I would have expected with these clips and with the music that was given to him, but he takes it and he runs with it and he really makes it work. I don't know how likely I would be to see this movie because it's about boredom, but you know, that's what he was going for and he presented that very well, so nice job on that. Ross Pitt submitted definitely the shortest clip of anybody. It was under a minute long, but he made good use of it by making the trailer itself also a depiction of boredom, just like the movie that it was advertising. He took the laid-backness of the clips and the laid-backness of the music and really took full advantage of it in the editing, so really well done on this. Ross Pitt's piece was called Easy Lemon, which is a very laid-back and what I was thinking would be something of a family-friendly film. But again, he took it in a different direction. He took a relatively bland and laid-back piece and just ran with it and made a trailer that was a depiction of boredom. And this piece of music fits that very well. It's just kind of your bland, everyday, easygoing type of piece. And it's exactly the sort of music that you would expect in a trailer like this. Finally, from Coded Lock Films, we have Bookmarks. Once again, we have the theme of fictional characters intermingling with their creators or their readers. In this case, it's another story where a reader gets so caught up in the stories that he's reading that he literally gets caught up in it. Now, in this case, it's more conceptual and less story-based, but the idea is still very interesting and still there. And he manages to make the movie seem very exciting, especially given that he's mixing exciting music with relatively low-key clips. Obviously, that's something that Twin's going to talk about here in a minute, but all in all, it presents the idea that this is going to be a very exciting movie and it's going to give us a very interesting concept to look at, even if the story itself isn't necessarily as fleshed out. And again, yes, this is a movie that I would be likely to go see. I just find the idea of fictional characters mingling with their creators and readers so interesting for some reason. Alright, you all know Jesse does well with editing. I mean, I really don't even need to talk about it, but I'm going to anyway because that's part of the contract. First of all, there's the page flip. It's a really cheesy editing thing that you find in most stock editing software, but here it works because that's the story, and I like that he made good use of that page flip. And of course, Deus is going to talk more about music in a minute, but as far as editing is concerned, he did a really good job of integrating the music in with the clips that he was using. It was just really well edited on a technical level, which again, you would expect from Jesse. Jesse's piece of music was The Cannery, and I may or may not have been trying to give him a challenge with this. The pieces that I picked are relatively laid back and relatively quiet, but the piece of music that I gave to Jesse was an upbeat, quirky adventure type of piece. And so I was interested to see what he would do with that, and he really used the music really well with this. He used the beats of the music effectively, which is something I always appreciate, it's something that I do all the time. And he managed to make what were very laid back and almost uninteresting clips and make them into something that seems really interesting, like something that would put you on the edge of your seat. All in all, he took a challenge and he ran with it. I would expect nothing less from Jesse. So rather than ranking these trailers as a whole, we are each individually going to rank the trailers as we feel that they are best in our own individual categories. So number 3 for me is going to be James F's trailer for Procrastination. Really interesting idea and presented very well. Number 2 is Crazy Josh Cravy's I Think I'm a Clone Now. A little bit more of a fleshed out story here, and he made the idea seem very exciting, and I like that he was able to find that balance between thriller and the more psychological aspects of the story. And number 1 is Spartan Knight 67 with The Bookkeeper. Definitely the most fleshed out idea. It really gave me an idea of what the movie would actually be about with regards to plot and characters and so on. And so for that, I give him number 1. Well done. For editing, number 3 goes to Ross Pitt for Matt the Board. Made really good use of honestly not a whole lot, and I always appreciate that. Number 2 goes to Coded Lock Films for Bookmarks. Just really good technical expertise of the editing and really good use of a cheap editing trick and integrating the music in with the clips. And number 1 goes to Crazy Josh Cravy. By far the best editing that was submitted. I don't even think I would have patience to do a lot of the stuff that he did. Really well done with that. As far as music from me, 3rd place goes to James F's Procrastination because he really went in a completely different direction from what I was expecting, and he made good use of the music that I gave him in that direction. Number 2 is Coded Lock Films. I really love the way that he integrated the music in with the trailer, and I love how he was able to use the music to make the clips look a lot more exciting than they actually were. And my number 1 pick is Ross Pitt for Matt the Board, both because he went in a different direction from what I was expecting with the piece of music, and also because he took what could have been a disadvantage and turned it into an advantage and just ran with it, and I'm really impressed with that. And that will about do it for this video. Until next time, I'm Deus. You guys are supposed to say our names. We introduced ourselves at the beginning of the video. Let's do it again. Besides, I don't need to introduce myself. They know who I am.